Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos y todas. We are live and welcome to KDL, our Virtual Small Business Expo series. Today, we are honored and very excited to have this journey together, to start this time together. These are a series of time that we have reserved for you, and our goal is to have a dialogue with you, with local agencies, with businesses, with entrepreneurs, to promote your work, to understand your challenges, to align with the resources that you want and need, and to see your business grow, because that's how our community grows. During these next weeks, we will be hosting this live event every Thursday at 7 o'clock as an effort to connect directly with you. This is a live event, so you can post your questions, you can communicate directly with us. Your comments, your questions, ideas, this is why we're here. And today I want to give a warm welcome, and I'm very excited to present our guest, which is Hana Schultz. She is the Executive Director of Local First. We love Local First. And Hana is a graduate from Grand Valley State University. She has worked for Local First for more than 7 years. She herself is an entrepreneur, and her family owns a business in Holland. And she has worked really hard in her neighborhood to create connections. She's also the president of Garfield Neighborhood Association, so very versed in the community conversation and advocacy. So tonight, I want to give a warm welcome to our guest, Hana.
Hi.
Hi, Hana. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for this kind welcome. I appreciate it.
Well, we're super excited to have you. I don't know if everybody that is tuning in is familiar with the Local First, but why don't we start, just tell us a little bit of Local First and about you and how these came together.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, you just said it. Local First is where it's been my home in a way for over 7 years now. And I recently became the executive director just a couple of months ago. And Local First is an organization that supports locally owned businesses here by connecting to resources, helping create meaningful relationships between businesses, and providing educational opportunities for business owners wanting to connect around a purpose-driven, goal-oriented business practices. So it's really a pleasure to work with so many of our local businesses here in West Michigan.
Right, yeah. During this time, I am guessing that you're having challenges that you never, in those 7 years, you have never seen before. In the first 2 months of your first, as an executive director, you face this challenge, and I bet that it made you grow in so many ways. But I think that the times that we're living are calling for a change of habits, the way we spend our money. There's a lot of challenges for local businesses depending on their field of work. Can you tell us a little bit of how that is going?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. This last several months, I mean, I don't have to tell everybody how strange and challenging it's been. And for our business owners, that is true as well. Not being able to operate in a normal way, having to, many of our businesses, particularly restaurant and retail businesses that rely on walk-in consumers to help purchase products and keep their revenues up, have had to quickly figure out how to sell products and services online, which is, something that a lot of businesses already were doing, but many weren't. So that was definitely a learning curve. And we have so many local businesses that help other local businesses do those things. So there was a lot of connection, creating a connection between businesses that needed those services and folks who are experts in those areas. So that's something that Local First really prides ourselves on, is creating connections from one local business to another to help create collaboration and partnerships and other things that help build relationships in the community. And something that strikes me as really unique to our local business community is, and we'd like to say at Local First that Local First means people first. And we've really seen that ring true to, particularly as we see businesses reopening and considering, hiring staff back, bringing folks to work in customer-facing positions. So many of our local businesses are taking every possible precaution and doing everything they can to keep their employees safe. as well as keeping their customers safe, which is of course important as well. So, for those watching who regularly frequent local businesses, it's really important to keep that in mind, that so many folks are trying to figure it out as we go. So we got to keep patronizing those businesses and consider all the decisions they're having to make on a daily basis.
So in that talk, what are the things that we should keep an eye on when we spend our money? What to exercise intentionality in how we spend our money? What practices do you recommend for us when we are trying to support local, above something else?
Yeah, well, something that's pretty incredible about supporting local businesses is, and when I say local business, our definition at Local First of a local business means that the business is headquartered in West Michigan. So they have their headquarters is in our place, and it's privately held. So that means that, it's not publicly traded on the stock market. And that's for a couple of reasons. One of those reasons is that centralizes the decision making and helps those decisions that a business is making be place-based. So, when someone owns a business and lives in the community, they're much more likely statistically to be a better steward to the environment, to give back more philanthropically, to really care about the people that they employ and that they are, that are their customers, because they're their neighbors also. So to see those practices in play is really important. And so, when considering whether you're going to go to a big box store, whether you're going to order something online from a non-local store versus, trying to find something online or in person at a local business, your dollar goes a lot further when you keep it local. When you keep your money with a locally owned business, it circulates in the community for considerably longer, because a local business is several times more likely to spend that money at another local business. And so it really helps circulate that dollar. It helps keep taxes here. It helps our schools. It helps our parks. It helps our infrastructure. And it's really meaningful, and it helps to create meaningful jobs and better the economy here in our place. So it's important to consider where your dollar is going when you are choosing where to spend it.
Thank you for clarifying what local means. Really, that is important. Those considerations, and that it's important to know if those businesses fall into those categories. Now, speaking specifically about COVID and the challenges that businesses and everybody is facing, how can we support businesses right now? What have you seen? And if we, our audience goes to families and people that are at home, how can we really be intentional and say, this is what I am, this is a small change that I can do in my life in order to support my neighbors in my community?
Yeah, it's a particularly challenging time right now because so many of us and so many of our neighbors have lost jobs, don't have the income that they're used to having. And that causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And even when you want to support your community, you might not have, the expendable income to do so. And if you do, then you have to be, very considerate of where it's going. So there are a few ways that folks can support local businesses without spending any money. And one of those ways is to go online. It's as simple as going online and leaving a positive Google review. Businesses really do rely on those reviews because people search, they search businesses online and they can see that this is a really great business. And so those reviews mean a lot. You can buy gift cards in smaller increments and give them out as gifts at a later date. You can provide support on social media, share, provide comments and other things like that, just to kind of show support. That's really important. And if you're able to support local business right now financially, you're able to go and get takeout from your favorite restaurants or consume in some way, then just making sure that you're giving grace to those businesses, because everybody's kind of figuring out as we go. So they're trying to serve their customers, they're trying to keep their employees comfortable and safe. And so I'd say that the most important thing that we can all do is put people first. Consider how everyone's feeling. Be kind, give grace, and just know that you're making an impactful choice by supporting a local business when you are able to.
A question that was sent ahead when we were trying to discuss and try to highlight your work was, how can I support local businesses if I don't have a lot of discretionary income? And you answer some of those. Just leaving a review is something that that will make a huge difference for our neighbors. But something else, maybe?
Yeah, I think some of the most important things are those checking folks out on social media, encouraging if you do have a job, if you are able to talk to your employer about supporting local business, talk to the people around you and talk to them about supporting local and why it's important. Everything that we do influences the choices that we make and the choices that others make. So, it's important to talk about your favorite local business, to leave those reviews online, and encourage others to do the same. So if you're not able to right now spend the money there, that's okay. And it just matters to think about it and have the intentionality. And then when you are able to make those investments, then you can do that as well. But just by helping to educate folks around you, that's really important too.
So let's switch to local first in terms of as an organization, what you do and how you do it. I know that you have a number of resources that your members can access, or the community as a whole. Can you share a little bit about that? And before you do, allow me to say, if you are a viewer, please go ahead. This is live. Go ahead and leave us a comment, leave us a question, anything that you want to say to Hana, or any suggestion that you want for your local library. We would love to hear from you. Go ahead, Hana.
So local first, yeah, we typically in a normal year, we would host monthly, or every couple of times a month, we would host networking opportunities for local businesses to connect and just kind of chat and build relationships about what's going on in their world at that time. So we would do what we call member mixers, and businesses are able to come to those. Anyone's able to come, they're free. It's just a way to network and connect. And we also have webinars and educational opportunities every month to learn about different business practices. Today, actually, we had a webinar about reopening retail locations. And so we had a few folks come on and talk about their experience reopening their retail businesses. And then we had some folks from the Labor and Economic Opportunity Office at the state level talk about some of the intricacies of workplace safety. And there's some legal stuff that's involved in all of that. So we're able to kind of convene those conversations and help connect the business owners to resources. And we also help to gather resources from other amazing partners in the community, like Kent District Library, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Grand Rapids Chamber, the Grand Rapids area Black-owned business community, and we're able to connect all of our businesses to what other resources are out there in the ecosystem that they may benefit from. So that's another piece of kind of what we want to do.
You mentioned the ecosystem, and you were the one that connected us with Dana from Fulton Market. And Dana is kind of the bridge to the farmer community, the ecosystem, how we feed from each other and we help each other. And I see in your webpage that you have, when you mentioned we have an event today, there's an icon there right in the front that has events. And also there's an icon about business directory. Or can you talk about those?
Yeah. So our events, again, typically they would be in person. Right now, they're all virtual. And that was just something that we had to do to innovate a little bit and make sure that we were getting our resources out to the businesses as quickly as we could and safely. So that's a great place to look to connect into any of our resources, any of our webinars or educational opportunities. We also post some of our partner organizations, webinars and resources there too. And we also have a local business directory. We have a print version of that, which is like this really great book that lists all of the local businesses that are members of Local First. And then we also have an online version of that directory as well. So you can go on and search, and by searching that directory for, maybe you need a florist for an event, or maybe you need someone to help you do your accounting, or anywhere in between, that when you're searching in our directory, that business will be a locally owned business based on our criteria. So it's kind of an easy way to make those intentional choices.
I am also curious about the sustainability portion. You see that we all know about sustainability and how the other word that we threw out there, the ecosystem, that if we understand that we have a place in the ecosystem, we understand how our business will fit in a way that will be beneficial for the environment, but also for everybody else around us. How do you handle that? And what does it entail? When we say sustainability, it's such a broad term. Can you pin it down for us?
Gosh, yes, you're absolutely right. It is a broad term. So we talk about sustainability at Local First in a couple of different ways. Sustainability to us really means the intersection of people, planet, and profit. So, for a business to be sustainable, they need to be able to make a profit. Of course, we want our businesses to build wealth, but we also want them to do that in a thoughtful way. And so we want businesses to be able to support their people. We want businesses to be able to pay their employees and provide benefits. We want businesses to, have the framework in place to treat their employees well, and of course pass that along to customers and those taking advantage of their services as well. In addition to planet, so we want businesses to, care for the environment and take steps if that means recycling or composting food items or things like that. And what's cool about that is that local businesses, based on the criteria that we have for local, right? Local businesses are much, much, much more likely to build a business around those intentional practices, to be more sustainable, quote unquote. Because again, they're place-based. They own their business in the place where they live. And so they want to take care of the people around them and the planet. So we just help businesses to take that a step further. And we have programs that help businesses measure their impact so they can start to catalog and assess how their practices are impacting the environment, how their practices are impacting their community and their employees. And they can see where they stack up against national averages, which is cool, so that we can get a little bit of competitive edge. And West Michigan is such an incredible place for a lot of reasons, because folks really do care about the people around them. But we also have some things that we need to be intentional about. We need to make sure that we're addressing issues of systemic racism in our workplace. We need to be sure that we're addressing issues about environmental, concerns when we're thinking about how our business impacts the community. So, we provide ways for businesses to address some of those issues as well, so that you can be, extra considerate and conscientious about how you run your business.
Yeah, this is an amazing conversation. I want to remind everyone we are live. So if you want to have a question or a comment that you would like to share with us, please go ahead and join our conversation. We would like to hear from you. But speaking about this issue of sustainability, is, as I said, and you explained, it's such a broad thing. It has to do with how, the building where we are, how we use our water, how we use our air, how we dispose of the garbage and and other things. But then, sustainability in terms of the community. How our hiring practices impact the community, and how we're having or not having representation for the community that we're serving, and so on. So many things to think about. It is great to have a community that can do that thinking for us and kind of point us to resources that are useful and that we all can access, and kind of have those best practices discussed around us. It's good to know what has worked for our business, for our neighbor, and what hasn't worked, because sometimes theory doesn't match reality, especially in our own reality. So at this point, I would like to ask you about how you become a localist, how you become a member of Local First.
Sure. Well, there are a number of different ways to interact with our organization. So if you are a business owner, you're welcome to connect with me, and feel free to throw my email in the chat, at some point, or give it as in a recap, so that folks can reach directly out to me. And we have a couple of incredible team members who will talk you through the benefits of being a member and the costs associated and other things like that. And if that ends up being the right route for you, then we'd love to have you as a member. If you're someone who cares a lot about spending your money locally, then definitely take advantage of our website. There are a ton of resources there to check out. There's the directory, so that you can make sure that you're localizing your spending. We do have events, and hopefully we'll get back to doing our bigger community events someday soon. So that's a great place to look there. And we also have blogs and resources just to kind of talk about the impacts of supporting local business and what that means in our community. So it's a great way to inform yourself so that you can then help inform other people.
The blog too. I saw the blog and I was intrigued about that. But also thinking about ways in which you can. I have a question though. Who can access Local First? Is it only for King County, only for West Michigan? Is it for Michigan as a state, or is it national? Who can do this?
Yeah, great question. If you want to be a Local First member, it is a West Michigan-based organization. So we're regional. We want to make sure that the businesses that are members of Local First are part of this place-based economy that we're trying to build. We also have some sustainability programming, kind of what we were talking about, this measurement tool. We call it our Good for Michigan program. And that is a statewide program. So anyone in the state of Michigan can access those resources. And we even serve folks outside of the state. We're one of the only organizations that does that type of program, that measurement of your impact and environment, community and employee areas and governance and all these other really great things to quantify and start to measure. And so we have folks reaching out from all over the country to ask us about how to take advantage of those resources. So really, there's not a whole lot of barriers. Reach out, and we can chat and we can figure out where you fit in.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And maybe this is a live program, and you may get questions of people that are in the other side of the world. Who knows? But it's a discussion, and it's always good. Now, that said, let's talk about how to support you too. Here, in terms of, I wanted to ask you this question before. As an organization, usually you try to align yourself with organizations that are doing similar work. And I am guessing that that's the case for you too. Who are you a member of? Like, what do you, system-wide and nationwide or worldwide, who are you aligned with? Who is doing what you're doing, Hannah?
That's a great question, Sarah. So we're a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We work very closely with the team over there and have done quite a bit of work together. We are also members of the Green Home Institute and WEMIAC, which is West Michigan Environmental Action Council. So we work with some of those organizations to help again, kind of provide resources back and forth between our memberships and our communities. I'm sure there are more businesses or organizations that we're members of. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But we also have relationship with an organization called B Lab, which is a global organization. And that is the organization that certifies B corporations, benefit corporations. So that is a huge organization that works directly with businesses of all different sizes. So like Patagonia, for instance, is a B Corp, or Ben & Jerry's is a B Corp. And then we have local B Corps here, like Brewery Vivant, Cascade Engineering. So we have some here locally. We have about 15 to 19, I think, here locally. And then they have B Corps all over the world. So we have a really great relationship with that organization where we're able to pull resources from global partners and bring, the most leading edge, innovative solutions for businesses that really want to provide, or really want to, I should say, use their business as a force for good is kind of what we say. So B Lab is a great partner. We also work closely with the American Sustainable Business Council, which I know you're having, I think, next week or the following. You're having someone from Marta from
That's right.
speak about some things. And
you are.
Yeah, I saw that. Got to
That's
really kill
you.
Yeah, so we work closely with that group, and we work closely with the American Amoeba, American Independent Business Alliance, which is another organization that sort of as the nation level. So we're sort of the local, the regional group, and then we have all of these incredible national and global partners that we connect with regularly to make sure that what the resources we're bringing to our community are the most up to date, the most useful, the most innovative, and the most impactful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Did you mention donation? Because I saw a donation link in your website too. So
Well, I was gonna plug that. We are a nonprofit, so we gotta do the fundraising thing, and we get support locally from a couple of local foundations, and of course our members support us in a lot of ways, and we truly appreciate that. And if you're interested in what businesses and organizations support us, check out the website. But we do have a donate page if you're interested in supporting our work, in supporting local businesses. We would of course appreciate any donations that folks are able to give.
Yeah, well, thank you, Hana. It has been so great to have this conversation, and I'm so glad that Local First is here and it's able to serve our businesses. I want to remind everyone, you can join the conversation today, but at this point, I also would like to let you know that we want to hear from you, and so much we want to hear from you that we have created a little space for us to network together. So in a few minutes, we will have a link that will be sent or was sent to you ahead of time if you register for this event, and we will see you at a Zoom meeting so we can all talk and we can get to know you. We can get to hear what type of business you have, and maybe create connections that are meaningful to you and to us. So that's happening in a few minutes. But for now, I would like to welcome our super great librarian, Miss Sarah Magnuson, with a wonderful resource from your local library to help you with your business.
It's Sarah, librarian and outreach specialist, here with your KDL Connection. Kent District Library has all the resources for your workforce development needs, from Career Online High School to prepare you for the career that you want, to our databases and collections that will help you grow your small business. Let's see how we can connect with today's topic. Let's begin at our website, kdl.org. And from there, we'll find that we have Learn and Research, our online and research databases. We'll select just our business resources for tonight, and then scroll down through the list to find Reference USA. Reference USA is an excellent marketing tool for drilling down to finding fine details in your market area. You can see that it has 58 million US business listings as well as Canadian resources. There's a quick search that allows you to search by company name or industry type. There's also an advanced search that allows you to choose different filters. So you can select by executive gender, executive ethnicity. You can go into the different markets and see what type of businesses are run. So if you chose to do minority-owned businesses in food retail, you can select just that market, and then you can enter in the zip codes that you would like to search, allowing you to drill down in your area to find minority-owned businesses that deal in food, and you can support that business, or you can use your marketing tools to directly reach out to those executives. Thanks for being here with us today. And I hope that you'll join us next week for another Small Business Expo, where we'll share more KDL connections.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was wonderful. Please join the conversation with us tonight, and we would like to see you there in the Zoom meeting. We're going to get some instructions from our outreach specialist, Ms. Joanne Swanson, Hudson Swanson, sorry. And she's here tonight to join us and walk us through the process. Hi, Joanne. How are you?
Hi, folks. I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're in your car.
Good. I am in my car. I am in my car. That's so that I'm at Interlochen Public Library, and they have Wi-Fi in the parking lot, so we're good. I couldn't connect well at the cottage, so we're on live on location. So the Zoom meeting has been started, so you can put that address in your browser and just sign in as a participant, and I'll see you there.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Joanne.
Yep.
If you would like to join us, in the comments section, you will find the link for the Zoom meeting. We will see you there in a few minutes. You can share who you are, what kind of business you have, and you can share anything that you would like to speak with Hana and us. We would love to see you there. And just as a reminder, these broadcasts will happen every Thursday at 7 o'clock. We have 7 more planned. They are wonderful. You can find more and register for these events by going to www.kdl.org/events. You can also join us or just call the library. We'll have all the information for you. It has been a pleasure to guide this conversation with Hana tonight. We hope to see you next week, and hopefully we'll get to know you and see you in our Zoom meeting very, very soon. Have a good night, everyone.